was not that kind of Essen. We're live! Hello. Steve is getting his space shirt because he saw I was wearing my NASA sweater. Hi, this is Series Business. I like your handle. I don't think we have any space... Oh no, we have Liftoff! We do have one space game that we got from Essen. Liftoff. We did not get Magnustorm.
There were not a lot of spacey games, at least not on your list.
Not on my list, no. Yeah, space was not the theme this year. The theme was city building. Lots and lots of city building. Throughout history. Like, a history of city building.
Not city building in space.
No.
Although in Liftoff, you do build a space station. For investment. Investigations. Investments? What was the word that our demo used?
Investments.
Yeah.
It was investments. Anyway, that's okay. I really like your username, This Is Serious Business. It's a very smart way to, like, do the letters. I'm just gonna call you Business. But, like, business. I'm glad you like the vlogs. I'm very proud of my vlogs this year. I went to the store today and bought Steve some cider, and Steve, I don't know anything about this cider, but I saw it and I was like, I have to buy it for Steve. And he is having a better reaction than I thought he would. So,
I mean,
it's also 8.5%, so this is gonna be a fun stream, y'all.
I'm gonna be a space cadet.
Don't forget the mic is like.
Oh, sorry.
You are the worst.
I'm literally the worst. No, what was it? What was it you said? I know literally nothing about this, but I'm buying it from my husband.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's apparently right between sweet and dry. It's sharper than smoother, and it's slightly more bubbly than still. They have like little charts on the side. There's a whole story on the back. Please don't read it out to the camera. Look, the giraffe is even on the front. Because we're playing Reykholt. We need to actually start playing Reykholt.
I know. This is on my list for Halloween costume next year. Is astronaut giraffe.
Mm. I'm drinking Deschutes Jubilee, which I've been drinking all the streams this week so far, and I'm almost out. I usually don't drink a lot of beer. I love beer so much, but I don't drink a lot of it because it goes straight to my body. But I am a sucker for winter beers. I love winter beers. So
I'm a sucker for space.
This is not a game about space. This is Reykholt, a new Uwe Rosenberg title about Iceland and vegetable growing and tourism in Iceland, which is an interesting mix, but really funny. A lot of people have been going to Iceland recently because Icelandic Air has this deal where if you fly with them, you have to go through Iceland. It's like a law or something, so you can't get a direct flight with Iceland Air from like anywhere to anywhere unless it goes through Iceland. But
it's quite a racket there.
They have this deal where they'll let you do a layover for however long you want for free, which is pretty amazing because normally if you want to do like, oh, I fly in, I spend 3 days, and then I go out, you have to like pay additional taxes and fees and you have to book a separate flights. But Iceland Air is like, no, it's going to be one air. And so there's a big trend. It's working because a lot of people that are going to Europe for business or just going to Europe or anything like that, they'll do these trips. And we've actually talked a couple years now for Essen about doing that, and it just didn't work with our vacation days this year. Had we known we wouldn't be going to BGG. It didn't work with our vacation days this year, but we might do that next year. I don't know. Yeah. It's on our list.
I think it's like up to 2 weeks they let you do a layover. It's really generous, and from what people have said, I think my folks did it when they did a trip to Scandinavia. It's like not that much more expensive than a normal flight. Like it is more expensive than a bargain basement flight, like directly, but it's not.
But it's not
significantly more.
And then there's a lot of companies in Iceland that will like they're really doing a big push on tourism because there's nothing else there. But, like, you can rent cars really easily for that 2-week period. You can rent, like, camper vans and RVs and, like, this whole thing. It's really going. So, Iceland, I'm wondering if Uwe did one of those trips. Like, I wonder if Uwe was like, I've got to go to America, but what if I went through Iceland? And then he got inspired and made this game. I don't know.
You know,
maybe that's what happened.
Maybe you put Uwe Rosenberg on an 8-hour flight leaving Iceland, and you come up with.
Oh yeah, maybe that's what happened. he was going. I think he lives in Germany.
Yeah.
I think he was going from Germany to, like, the US for a con, did a layover in Iceland, had a great time, designed this on the flight to Gen Con. Maybe that's what happened. We don't know.
I think that's reasonable speculation.
It's headcanon now. It's the story we're going with. That beeping means our dinner's done, because Instapot. Anyway, so we're going to play Reykholt, which is... It's a Uwe Rosenberg, so you're going to be shocked. The Instapot's just going to keep beeping. There we go. It's a worker placement game about farming. Are you shocked?
And planting. And planting and farming and harvesting and
yeah.
Alright, well, let's open up this cavernous box interior.
I'm gonna well, you stop. Gotta wait for the camera to change. And the mouse was disconnected. Okay. So oh, that poor camera. Oh, we forgot the lights. Space giraffe man. Oh, I didn't know. Oh yeah, Uwe does have a farming fetish. I just saw Uwe has a farm, and I was like, woo! That would make a lot of sense.
That explains. Is that farm named Agricola?
No. Okay.
Not gonna tap the table.
So anyway, I was gonna go on another room. We're not gonna do it. So we're gonna jump into this game. So this game is for 1 to 4 players because Uwe designs a lot of his games to work solo, and he designs a lot of his games to work 2-player, which is one of the reasons we're really big fans of him. He is one of our favorite designers, if not the favorite designer. We buy everything he puts out. We don't keep everything he puts out, but we do buy it and try it. So,
Jeff Speck says Fields of Arle is semi-autobiographical. That's super cool.
Business is like, where's Loki? Loki's right here. Loki's behind me. How did you know? Business watches the YouTube videos. So, of course, Business knows Loki is, like, nearby at any given moment. Loki, flying to you. Yeah, anyway. Okay, so, we're having too much fun. This is our 4th stream of the week? 5th stream. This is our 5th stream of the week. So, the box is just really pretty overall. The art is just very lush, which is what I've heard Iceland is in the growing or harvesting season. And so, yeah.
Was it Iceland is green and Greenland is icy? Is the old saw?
Yeah. It was a trick. So, the board is double-sided. And we're going to play this way. Yeah, because we got the space. So there's a side for 4-player and 3-player, and it's got a lot of action spots. And 3-player, you just restrict some of them. With a board, you cover them up. And then in the 2-player, and I believe the solo as well, there is just less. And then there's these little like garden plots, and you put the resources in the garden plots. So the resources have their own bit boxes that you have to build. They're like punch board little crates, and they have little labels on the side. So we have a cabbage plot, and we'll put the cabbage there. Here, I'll let you do the carrots. Yay. And the mushrooms.
Zena says those aren't real carrots, and she feels lied to.
She also says you're streaming. Streaming means we get certain things. Yeah.
Weren't you saying there's some people that have dogs that never fed them like carrots? So they did videos of their dogs like having carrots and things for the first time.
There's an Instagram, there's somebody on Instagram that I follow that their dogs had never had any like vegetables or human food. And so she's been introducing the dogs, they're corgis, because of course. She's been introducing the dogs to different foods, and it's pretty comical. Because like, dogs are not carnivorous, they're omnivores. So they actually really like certain vegetables and they're good for them. Dogs love carrots and broccoli and kale and blueberries, but if they eat too much, they'll get diarrhea. So yeah, anyway, she's been feeding different vegetables to her 2 corgis, and it's really adorable. So in a 2-player, you put the little bit boxes on the garden boxes, and it helps with table space, which is super cute. On the other player board, you're just gonna have to put the bit boxes someplace else. Then each player has 3 workers, and they're just little discs, but everything in this game is overproduced. Just straight up. Everything in this game is graphically overproduced. And so there's stickers that you put on of, like, very detailed people, which is kind of fun.
And they're evenly balanced between male and female farmers.
Yep. So Steve's got, and they're, are they unique? They're not.
There's, I think...
There's 4.
Yeah, there's 4.
And so there's 2 players that have mostly females, and then there's 2 players that have mostly males. And then everybody gets a little bottle. We'll decide if this is water or wine. You know, whatever. And this is your table manager. Because in this game, everybody runs, like, greenhouses, because it's Iceland. You need greenhouses to help with the humidity control. And, hi, Zena. And I was going someplace with us. We all run greenhouses, and then that's the, like, farming part, and then the tourism part is at the end of every round, we're going to provide food to the tourism market, which is represented by these tables that go around the board, and every table has depicted on it a certain amount of vegetables that it wants, and you need to pay that amount of vegetables to move on to the space, which I'm going to go into more detail here in a second. There's a board that has, like, a little storybook, and for 2-player, you put the storybook up there. In 3 and 4-player, you're actually going to flip and use the other side of that tile for something else, which you can just read in the rules. Then there's these, like, action-based things. You don't need to worry about these. These are for other player types. I think it's the soul. Otherwise, there's these, like, book bits. They're pages of a book. And for a 2-player game, the game is going to last 7 rounds. So you can there's one for the 8th round, which you might need for other things. So you take the 7, you put them in numerical order, and then you put them here, and that's how we track the rounds of the game. We'll turn the page of the book, which is cute. There is a pack of cards in the deck that has a beautiful stop sign on it. This is the, like, scenarios and sort of a campaign for this game. So ours is still shrinked, and it's just there. Then we've got a lot of big cards, and Uwe does this quite often. The turn order, or the first player marker, is a card that has a spade on it, and I'm actually just probably going to make a polyplay version of this. Or Angela could make I mean, I'll make one, but when I thought of this, I was like, you know what Angela would do?
Why don't we just get an actual trowel?
We just pass it.
Then,
we have one on the porch. Do you want to go get it?
No, but we just need to put it in, like a resin base.
Yeah. There's a player aid for each player. The player aid is kind of comical because the rounds are so simple.
Oh, and did you say the cards are huge? Because the cards are... Speaking of overproduced.
Yes, the cards are very large. So there's a lot more cards than you need, but that's because there are specialist cards. And there's 5 different decks of them. Not decks, but there's 5 different sets. And for the first game and for this game, we're just going to play with the A set. They recommend you play with the A set. And then as you get better, there's 5 sets. So there's 4 different sets that you can play with. And then when you get those, really good at those, you can open the shrink pack. And there's apparently more in there. So we have the A set right here. And there are 6 of them, and we're just going to put them someplace accessible to both of us so that during the game we can take them and they become ours and they help us do stuff. Just going to put them on either side of the board arbitrarily. Then there's a bunch of greenhouses. So these are where we're going to plant our vegetables, and the backs have the quantities on them. So you're going to take out the ones that you don't need for the player counts that you're not playing with. This is a special one. And if you've read the English rules, there's a typo. So in the greenhouse stack, there's a stack of cards that has like a question mark on the back. These are random. One of them has like a thing, that one's going to go on top. The other ones you shuffle, and then you put face down, and then you put that one on top. In the German rules, this is what it says to do. In the English rules, it says put them face up, and then do that. But that doesn't make any sense. And there's been a errata on BGG.com. So we played...
Do you draw from the bottom now?
No, you draw from the top.
Okay.
So you always know what the top one will be. It's a 3 greenhouse. But you don't know what the other ones will be moving forward.
Oh, I see. Got it.
Otherwise, the greenhouses are specific sites, so you just want to make sure that you have the correct player count. And I've already separated out the higher player counts because we mostly just play 2 players, so there's that. And then you're just going to make a stack of each greenhouse. And these greenhouses, they're all the same size, so you can just put them face up someplace. But not too close to Steve.
I really like that you're expanding my greenhouse. Right here.
I'm like, where can I put these that he just won't? Just
Hey, if anybody in chat just notices me planting on the market greenhouses, just,
please let us know.
Hit the electronic buzzer, which will buzz me.
We could wire that up.
Oh my god.
Buy me a Raspberry Pi. We can do this. Okay.
Connected to donations.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll donate to electrocute Steve whenever he cheats. That's a great method. We'll make so much money. Okay, I'm gonna put the other greenhouses over here.
I have a plan. Let's not do that.
But why not?
Although we have the technology.
Okay. So I don't know if y'all noticed, but the inside of the box has even decorated. Like, there's unique art on all 4 sides of the inside of the box. Not the lid, though. They could have done better. This game is very beautiful. It's like too beautiful. Okay. So, that's set up.
It's designed to be as peaceful as actually going to Iceland and farming.
And now, we shall teach the rules. So, whoever last purchased tomatoes goes first. That's me, because I do the grocery shopping in this house.
This game is unbalanced and broken.
If you want to go get the trowel from the porch, you can hold it, and you can go first. Okay. So, there are 7 rounds in the game, and there are 4 phases of every round. The first phase of a round is we're going to take turns alternating to place our workers. So we each have 3 workers, and we're going to put them on one of the available worker spots in the center. Available meaning that no one has gone there yet. Only 1 worker per spot. And then, in addition, the corners of the board, you can't see them on camera, but the corners of the board have little flags, and they are special in that you can only have, every round, you can only have 1 of your workers on a flag spot. So if I were to go here and do this action, I cannot go to any of the other flag spots this round, because these spots are a little bit more powerful.
Primo way that I cheat.
Yeah. Another important fact is that you cannot take an action spot that you could not in some way do. So you don't have to be able to do absolutely everything that the spot says, but you need to be able to do at least one or most of what the action says to do. In addition, it's not optional. So if I went to this space, which says I get to harvest 1 time and take a lettuce or a cauliflower, I couldn't decide to skip the harvesting if it was possible for me to harvest, okay?
So that's my question. If it says an and, do you have to do both?
Yes. If it's an or, it's optional. Oops. And if it's an and, you must do it.
And so, does that also mean, though, I can't do that harvest and take if I couldn't harvest?
No. If you cannot harvest, you can do the and part. And that's what I was...
Okay, I was just making sure.
So, after we all do our action spots, and I'll explain what all of those do in a minute, then we're going to harvest. We're each going to have greenhouses in front of us that we acquire throughout the game, and we're going to seed vegetables into them. The harvest phase of the round means that we get to take 1 vegetable out of each of our greenhouses, max. So 1 vegetable per greenhouse that we have. That's harvest. We add those vegetables to our personal supplies. Then we have the tourism time, and that's where we can move around this track. That is actually the final victory condition. The end of the game is, the winner is whoever is furthest along this track. So, in the tourism time, you can move your little manager bottle as far on this track as you want. You must at least move one space, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But you move it as far as you want, paying the resources depicted on the tables to move onto the table. So it's actually it's a pattern, and you all can see the pattern via the colors if you're not colorblind. But it goes tomato, cabbage, mushrooms, cauliflower, carrots. Tomato, cabbage, mushroom, cauliflower, carrots. And so it's the same sequence, but the important thing is the quantity increases. So here I need 1 tomato, 1 cabbage, 1 mushroom, 1 cauliflower, 1 carrot. And then here I need 2 tomatoes, 2 cabbage, 2 mushrooms, 2 cauliflower, 2 carrots. And then 3 tomatoes, so on and so forth, okay?
Also, it's lettuce, not cabbage, which at a barbecue years ago I made a mistake when everybody wanted lettuce and I showed up with a couple heads of cabbage.
I love you so much.
They look really similar. I mean, you made the mistake.
This is why
I
grocery shop. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yep.
In real life, they don't look that similar. Okay. All right. Just keep the drinking. It's fine. It's fine. You're hitting that hard. You should get some water.
Oh, I know that. It's loud when I hit it hard. For the microphone.
Okay.
Sorry, folks.
After tourism time, then we do homecoming time. We get our workers back, and then we flip the page of the book. And then it's another round. The first player marker, alternates every round. So there's nothing to take it. You just keep alternating it. One thing that's important about the tourism time is one of the table movements that you do, you actually are going to gain what's depicted on the table that you're moving to instead of pay. So you're going to always have to move at least once during tourism time, and at least one of your table movements, actually not at least, one of your table movements must be that you gain what's depicted instead of you paying. So let's say I have a bunch of stuff, so I could pay a tomato, I could pay a lettuce, I could pay a mushroom, and then if I don't have a cauliflower, because I still must move a table and gain something, I'll just move here and gain the cauliflower. But you can only do that, and you must do that once per tourism round. So yeah, which comes in really handy later game, and early game also, actually, yeah. When you move onto a table where somebody else is, you go in front of them, and this is important because during this phase, it doesn't matter what turn order is, whoever's in front on this track will always go first. And each player is only going to go once during this phase. So there's that. And at the end of the game, whoever is in front on a table wins. So it doesn't matter if Steve gets to here first, if I manage to get to here at all, right? So if Steve was in front of me to begin with, maybe we're at this situation. Steve takes his turn, ends up here, and then I manage to do a whole lot. I actually end up in front of him. I win the game.
So second player gets to a spot is ahead.
But it's not second player. It's just second on the track.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Or if you get there after me, you're ahead. In that spot is what you're saying.
Yeah. Sure.
Oh, that's what I mean. The second player to get there is ahead.
Yes. And then the third player gets in ahead. It's whoever gets there last is in front. So that's that. So now let's talk about the action spots, because this is where the meat of the game is. So there's a few keywords. They're really straightforward. So one of the important things is you're going to need greenhouses. So there's a couple of places that let you take a greenhouse. Unless it says specifically the random greenhouse stack, you can take from any greenhouse pile that you want. So you can take from the random one when it just says take a greenhouse. But if it says take a random greenhouse, you must take from this stack, which means you don't necessarily know what you're getting. Then, let's say I have a greenhouse. when you go to a location and it says take a lettuce, take a tomato, something like that, what it means is that you are going to take a vegetable from the supply. So this slot says take 1 tomato and seed 1 time. So seeding means you take one of the fruits that you have, or one of the vegetables that you have in your personal supply, and you put it into an empty greenhouse. The greenhouse must be completely empty. There can't be anything else in the greenhouse for you to seed, because once you seed, you take the remaining fruit that you, or vegetables that you would need, and you fill the greenhouse with them. So that 1 tomato seeded the whole greenhouse, and so if I had done like a 6-size greenhouse, I would have 6 now tomatoes in my greenhouse. Each greenhouse has in the bottom part pictures depicting what vegetables can be planted there. So the 3-size greenhouses can have anything. The 4-size ones cannot have carrots. This one cannot have cauliflower, and then that one can't have mushrooms. And so the larger the greenhouse, the more restricted you are in what vegetables you can have. Also, each greenhouse, one of the boxes is marked in yellow. That means that that item is rare for that greenhouse, which just comes into effect for certain cards. It'll say like your rarest good from a greenhouse. It means the one that's yellow. That's all that means. So that's seeding. Then there are certain spots on the board that will let you actually harvest during the game worker placement phase. So if I went here, I can harvest up to 2 times or take a mushroom. So harvest means that you take 1 vegetable from a greenhouse, and when you harvest, you must harvest from different greenhouses. So even though this says harvest up to 2 times, I can't harvest from the same greenhouse twice in the same turn. So I can only harvest once from it. I would have to spend another turn going someplace else to harvest an additional time. So I'd have to go here, this says harvest 1 time, so then I would harvest again, and then it says take a lettuce or a cauliflower, so I'd take a lettuce. Okay? So that's harvesting, that's seeding, that's taking greenhouses. That's basically it. If you ever need to discard a greenhouse, which there's an action spot that lets you do that, everything on the greenhouse is lost. It just goes back to the main supply. You don't gain it. Yeah. I think those are the only keywords. Yeah, there's the immediately advance one that lets you advance on tables. When you play that one, you do not have to pay the resources depicted on the tables. So, yeah. There we go. All right.
I'm excited about this.
You ready to start?
Yeah, but hold on. I want to put all the handles facing the same direction.
But then we can't see what resource it is. How will we know?
Also, I just want to point out that thanks to you calling it cabbage, the chat had a long discussion about the history of Cabbage Patch Kids and their relationship with it thereof.
I was wondering what happened to that. I had 2 Cabbage Patch Kids. And one I cut all the hair off of. And the other one had dreads, and I loved her. She was my favorite. I loved the one with dreads. Loved, because I could braid it. My extended family were upset that I had a Cabbage Patch doll that was African American. So I cut all the hair off of the blonde, Caucasian one in rebellion. And
then you cut those family members out of your life.
They have been cut out of my life at this point. This is true. All right. Oh, yes. Thank you. Oh, hi, me. I forgot the veggie stack. So for the special cards, there's a veggie stack that we construct, and I always forget the sequence, so I'm going to look it up. It goes mushroom on the bottom, and then it goes lettuce, and then it goes tomato. So this is part of setup, technically. You make this little stack with mushroom on the bottom, and tomato on top, and lettuce in the middle. It's a little sandwich. And you put it someplace that Steve won't take from it. And when we get down to 3 specialist cards, whoever takes a specialist gets the top one until they're gone. So, yeah.
Oh, so the last one gets the best veggie. Very cool.
Yep. All right, we ready?
All right.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Thanks, Jaime, for the tip.
Seriously. Cool. I have learned a lot of things on my last play.
I forget everything I learned on my last play.
That is good for me because you kicked my butt last time.
It was a pretty close race until the end. It came down to the last turn, which is something I liked about the last.
I'm gonna go here to take a greenhouse, and I'm gonna take this 6 greenhouse. So I'm gonna have a 6-size greenhouse.
Do we start with goods?
Nope. We don't start with anything but our workers and soil that we can't use because we're in Iceland. So we have to have greenhouses.
You know, speaking of greenhouses, we used to have a greenhouse. Like a couple layers of paint back. It was that, like...
Oh. Can you take your turn?
Take a tomato in a random greenhouse. So I'm always taking this first one?
Yep. It's the size 3 one. Whee! Can you put it more in camera? Okay.
Just add it to the rest of my greenhouses.
I'm gonna take a tomato and seed 1 time. So I'm gonna take the tomato and then I'm gonna seed the tomato in my 6 greenhouse. So I'm actually gonna get a bunch more tomatoes. Tomato. Alright, carrots. So this game starts really easier and you're like, oh, this is easy on the tables. And then you get to like here and you're like, I've made mistakes. So
right, I'm gonna discard that tomato to take a greenhouse. Any greenhouse.
I need to reread the specialists.
But I won't. I want the other one of these.
Yeah, the 6s are great. Okay. Oh, sorry. These are service cards, not specialists. My bad. I can't get another greenhouse. You can get max 1 greenhouse around, unless you have extra goods, in which case you can do more, which is what Steve did. I'm going to go... I'm going to go here to get 2 cabbage. Or lettuce. Tomato.
You say tomato.
I say tomato. You say potato. I say potato.
Tomato.
Potato. Wait.
Well, you know what? Let's just... The singing thing isn't working out. Let's call the whole thing off. Oh, I can't harvest, so I'm just going to take the lettuce.
Tragedy of my daughters. Okay. Harvest time. I'm going to get a single tomato. Steve doesn't get anything.
I don't.
Okay. And then we're going to do some tourism. So Steve's technically in front, but I don't know if that is on purpose. Hang on.
So probably.
I maybe was supposed to put the first player in front. Yes, I was supposed to be in front.
Oh.
So I will pay what? Are you cheating?
Okay. No.
I'll pay a tomato and I'll pay a lettuce, and then I will gain a mushroom.
So the cheating was I'm taking this tomato to move here because I didn't have one, and then I'm paying my lettuce that I got to go here.
Okay. And then we take these back. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I learned something on the bus while overhearing someone that was talking on their phone loudly.
Mm-hmm.
There's apparently something called the San Francisco slur, where people that are in San Francisco or the Bay Area apparently run all of their words together and don't enunciate. But I can't detect it because I'm from there, so apparently that's a thing. And the longer you're there, the more you start doing it. You learn the most interesting things on buses.
You start. I learned in a coffee shop today that it's so sad how many people have divorced parents. There were 3 women. I went and worked at a coffee shop today, and there were 3 women that were very loudly discussing all of their children. They're older women who have children and have grandchildren. And the grandchildren are old enough that they're like doing sleepovers and stuff at their houses. And they were loudly discussing how all of their children's marriages were going, and also how their spouses' parents' marriages were going, and how like their parents' marriages. They were basically talking. They would talk about people, and then they would talk about their marriages for some reason. That like whenever anybody was doing something that they were like upset about, or they felt was wrong, they would be like, "Well, but you know, his parents are divorced." Like it was like, are you? Yeah.
Like that's the catch-all. Wow.
And then they were talking about how like the one woman's kids, the one woman's daughter, needs to spend less time with her husband to save their marriage. It's like,
it's harsh. I feel like I'm just
weird.
picturing this in the lens of a Monty Python sketch. Like I'm pretty sure I've seen this Monty Python sketch of the loud ladies all one-upping each other with sordid tales.
Yeah. All right, you start.
Oh, do I? Why do I start?
Because it alternates. Oh, sorry. You have this trowel.
The one I should have gotten from outside.
I would have painted it red. With your blood. People are super weird.
Yeah. Also, it's probably hard to see because it's blurry, but this sticker, he just has the most amazing smirk on his face.
You gotta make it want it.
Yeah, I don't think it's showing up. Oh.
Yeah,
there's just this amazing, like...
Now we're out of focus here.
Okay, yeah, that was my fault.
Look at my face! Ah. We're having fun here.
Hope you're having fun too.
Oh my goodness. Boy. That's not the camera settings. We'll fix it. Don't you worry.
Alright.
Turn off autofocus. It's just definitely bad. There we go.
Let's do this. Let's take a tomato in a random greenhouse. Apparently I'm taking 2 random greenhouses.
Alright. I am going to take...
That bonus says the stream is no farming while drunk. Yeah, well.
He says as he drinks more beer.
In space.
I'm gonna go ahead and take that one to get this greenhouse.
I'm going to take 2 mushrooms.
Tina wants a thing.
Does it start with the letter C?
Probably. I'm going to take a harvest card. I'm going to take this one. Whenever I seed at least one time, I may harvest one time.
Tiffany building an engine?
What? No, I'm not. Don't look.
Alright, well, I'm going to seed at least 2 times. I was hoping you would do some shenanigans, so I could do that.
These are my shenanigans. Do you like them?
Yeah, I'm putting mushrooms in the one that I need to put carrots in, but it's fine. So
it's awkward when you do that.
Mm-hmm. So many tomatoes. You know, the sculpts on these are so incredibly unique. The tomatoes do not look like apples.
You don't look like an apple.
I don't. Alright, I did.
Dinner smells really good. I want to do like 4 actions before the harvest, and I can't. So I'm going to I'll go here to take a tomato, and I seed one time. So I'm going to actually seed this lettuce. Actually, oh, you got the 6th random one?
Mm-hmm.
Dang it.
Yep.
I'm going to seed this lettuce here because you need lettuce a lot in this game. I mean, you need everything a lot, if we're honest. Maybe I should do mushrooms. I don't really know. And then I get to immediately harvest because my power, so I'm going to take a lettuce.
Usually people don't just throw that out in conversation.
What?
Maybe I should take mushrooms.
Maybe I should take mushrooms. I sold Gingerbread House today, for reasons on my Patreon. And the gentleman who bought it, he like as he was leaving, he was like, "So does it taste good?" And I was like, it's a little stiff. I was like, yeah, he got the joke. All right, I get to harvest, harvest time. So we each harvest one thing from each of our greenhouses, and then it's tourism time, which I cannot do anything except for gain a single cauliflower, which we've been roasting cauliflower. It's amazing.
Oh my goodness.
I bought 2 cauliflower heads, so we each can just eat our own cauliflower last.
I'm going to turn
splitting
in
is
a
just
mushroom,
not enough.
and then I am also going to gain a cauliflower.
So basically, preheat your oven to 500 degrees. Cut your cauliflower into like steaks that are like literally an inch thick, maybe 1.5 inches. Any like florlets that come off, try and keep them large and put them on the pan too. Do parchment paper, and then put your steaks down. Drizzle really well with olive oil. Then you're gonna sprinkle paprika, some cumin, some salt on them. Rub it in with the olive oil. Make sure both sides of everything is covered. Put some foil on top. Put it in the oven. Steam it for 10 minutes on that side. Take it out. Take the foil off. Flip everything. Put the foil back on. Put it back in for another 10 minutes. And then take the foil off and let it just like crisp for like 5 minutes. Just favorite meal right now. I will eat an entire cauliflower like that. So yeah, it's just amazing. Okay.
Wow. Who starts? Oh, you start. This rotates, and then
yes,
we did tourism time. Okay, so we're now in round 3. Need to remember to do that.
I'll be more proactive on the sale. In the Slack channel, there's a channel on our. If you're a Patreon member, you get a Slack channel link, and if you haven't gone one, just DM me, message me somehow, and I'll send it to you. But in the Slack channel, there's a room called like games for sale, and I'll list something in there when it's for sale. So, yeah, okay.
Have you ever considered listing for sale? Just to confuse
I have,
people?
but you won't let me.
Love that game.
Actually, I think I recently got rid of it.
What?
How
did I not see that coming? Making for sale. Go for sale.
I'm gonna take another greenhouse. Greenhouse.
You know, in retaliation, I'll just take a bunch of days off work and play a multi-day epic game of Leaving Earth.
Without me? Oh wait, I don't work. I can just play with you. This is my work.
Love that game. Alright, I'm gonna discard any good to take one greenhouse.
Easy. We're gonna have to feed her before this game's over. She's not gonna stand for it.
You know, I'm gonna undo that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take the tomato and a random greenhouse.
Just more random. Yeah. Hey, it's the best you could have gotten anyway.
Yeah.
Do you want to go feed her? Boop. What do I want to do? I really need carrot, so I can do carrots. So I'm going to take that. Oh, but I want carrot for things. Man, this game. I'm going to take this to take a tomato and seed one time. So I'm going to seed my mushrooms now. So, and when I seed, I get to harvest. So I'm actually going to take a mushroom as well. I'm actually going to put carrots up here because they're like the hardest to do. Because they only work in one greenhouse.
Yep, which I filled with mushrooms. Why did I do that?
No one knows. Gluten-free Oreos. Ooh. Yeah, right. We had gluten-free Oreos for him, and we forgot to list them. Is the herding greyhound in the game? It is not. I don't know what that is.
Let's figure out what
these dogs want. I feel like I should know that. Alright. It's my last turn. What do I want to do with my last turn? Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna take another service card. It's important not to, forget the service cards. I'm gonna take buyer's bonus. So, whenever I take a greenhouse, I can take the rarest good. So, if I take, the 3-1, I would get carrots. That's my plan for getting carrots. Beyond that one. This was a mistake. Now all alone. Thoughts and things. So, apparently, I should know this. I've played, so this has a similar mechanic with the greenhouses and the plots as, the Gates of Loleng, which is a game that is being reprinted by Tasty Mitchell Games. It's an older Uwe Rosenberg title, and it's coming back. But apparently the vegetable mechanic is very similar, but the worker placement is a little different, and what you're doing with the vegetables is different. But for us, Steve hasn't played the Gates of Loleng. For us, this more feels like playing the, vegetable growing part of Agricola without playing the animal husbandry or house building part of Agricola, which is what Agricola All Creatures Big and Small does. Agricola All Creatures Big and Small, which is one of our favorite 2-player games ever. And it's been reprinted again, so it's back in stock, and it is our favorite 2-player game. Not hands down, but it's definitely high up there. It does just animal husbandry with a little bit of house building, and so this feels like the other half of that to get the full Agricola vibe. So, yeah. Oh, the herding great. Oh, yeah, there's a greyhound in the campaign cards. I remember somebody mentioning that. Also, hello, John. Vince. And Dean. Hey, we're waiting on you. John called it. It's vegan Agricola.
Sorry. Just feeding the peppers. Mm-hmm. taking a carrot.
Alright. So now we harvest. Just form mushrooms and
this is a question. If you have something, do you have to pay it, or can you choose not to pay it?
That's a very steep question. You don't have to move up the track if you don't want to, but you must do the, gain thing. So, if you don't want to spend that carrot, you gotta gain carrot.
Because I want to seed it next round.
Okay. So, you just would move here to gain another carrot, and then you're done.
No, then I pay...
Oh, yes. And then you gain the carrot.
Yeah.
There you go. And then, yeah, you do your 2 tomato. And now you're done.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you do some crazy shenanigans.
I'm gonna gain a carrot. Carrots! Carrots! Don't you wanna eat some carrots? That's all I got. Then I'm gonna go here with 2 tomato. And then I'll go here with 2 lettuce. And then I'll go here with 2 mushroom.
If there was one, I don't know if I want to call it a
And then I'll go here to gain... Oh no, I already gained a carrot.
If there's one aspect of pretty much almost every Rosenberg game I've played that has similar worker placement and farming mechanics, almost all of them make me just want to play Caverna.
I mean, we have a new Caverna expansion that we need to play, so...
For both Cavernas, Cave versus Cave and regular Caverna. My bonus says they've never played Agricola, they just jump straight to Caverna.
I've been in the mood to play Agricola lately. But we can always rent it. So, you start. Oh, we need to turn the page.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the third round? That was the third
Yes, we've done it every round so far. So,
Agricola, all creatures... Or, sorry, no. Caverna, Cave versus Cave, we like it. We played it again recently before the expansion released to remember it, and I still like it a lot. And then the expansion came out, and it's interesting because you actually play an entire game of Cave versus Cave, like you even score it, and then you play the Cave versus Cave 2 expansion, like hooking it into the game that you just played, and then you score that game, which includes everything you did in the first game again.
It's totally wild. Oh, so it like expands your cave, but you don't expand your cave until after you've played the first game?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Reykholt has neither cows nor kelp. At least in the base game, this is true. Yes.
There's always room for a kelp folk expansion.
We played a lot of kelp last night, so I think I'm good. Okay. What?
Underwater farming in space. 1,000 years in the future.
Okay.
We'll call it Kelpler 3042.
Can I punch you? Can I just... Okay. I will go here, and I'm gonna grab this greenhouse. I do need more carrots in my life, but I also need cabbage. Or cauliflower. Delicious, delicious cauliflower. Why are there 2 4s? Oh, that's a 5. A 4 got on stock of a 5. I'm gonna grab a 4.
Weird how that happened.
When I take a greenhouse, I take 1 good of its rarest type. So I'm gonna take cauliflower, delicious, delicious cauliflower. And that's my turn.
It's my turn.
No, I know, but that is my turn.
Oh, that is your turn, so it's my turn.
Yes.
Because that was your turn.
Yes.
But now it's my turn.
You have 2 tomato fields?
I'm drowning in tomatoes. Is that a thing? Can you drown in tomatoes?
You could. They're very juicy. If your skin were punctured. If you were like in a tomato canning facility, and like an accident happened and you fell in a vat, you could die.
Goodness gracious.
And if they were boiling, you would drown and boil at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there's tomato in the chili for dinner. Are you excited? Reykholt does not have any exciting vegetables like beets. It's just tomatoes, lettuce, cauliflower, which is delicious, mushrooms, which can be exciting depending on the, like, species.
Instead of discarding a tomato, I'm going to take a tomato.
Carrots can be comical in the shapes that they grow.
The last room greenhouse. And it's the carrot field.
I think your carrot field's off camera.
Maybe I don't carrot.
If you don't want carrots, I'll take it. It's fine. Hi, Zena.
Alright, Mad Bonus says anthropomorphic cow astronauts in submarines who eat sea kelp. Steve might be onto something. We'll make it happen. It's the new Underwater Cities expansion. Underwater Cities in space.
It's like it's a joint thing between Kepler and Underwater Cities. Also, I found out Rio Grande Games picked up and signed Underwater Cities, so it's coming to US as soon as possible. I think it's like being printed, or it's already been printed or something.
Very exciting.
Yep. I want to do so many things on my turn, and I just can't. I just can't. I want another greenhouse. Is really what it is.
You know, you don't even...
She isn't.
You don't even...
Sorry, the AP is just, it's getting me. It's getting me, folks. Alright, I'm gonna discard anyone good to take a greenhouse, and that good that I discard will be a tomato, because I have an abundance of tomatoes, and I will take this one, which, when I take a greenhouse, I gain its rarest one, so I will gain another carrot. So now I have 2 carrots. And now it's Steve's turn. He's playing with his girl. He's playing with his sweet pupper. Oh.
Playtime's over.
Yeah. Aquaforming Mars!
Done. Sign it.
Done. We're done. We're just gonna design it right now.
We're kickstarting.
We're kickstarting. We'd like to announce our new Kickstarter launching tomorrow for Aquaforming Mars.
You know how you have that friend that keeps dropping ocean tiles on Mars and terraforming Mars? Guess what? There's too much water. And now we're aquaforming.
Yep. Hey, Joanna. Or Joanna.
Alright, I'm gonna seed.
What a time to walk in.
Yep. I could take a tomato. Oh no, that's not at least. Yeah, seed at least 2 times.
Damn it.
Seeding a carrot. I'm so sorry.
You're not. You're happy about it.
I'm not sorry. Seeding a carrot.
You're not sorry, you're Steve.
Seeding a cauliflower. So one thing about this game that I feel like is a bit of a simplification from Agricola Caverna is the greenhouses are basically the stacks of vegetables from the other games, but because there's spaces, you sort of always know exactly how many to seed instead of having to like stack up the hay or the vegetables.
I know exactly how many of you to stack up.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's...
Tark.
That was unexpected. As Will Smith said, I saw that going differently in my mind.
I get to harvest something.
No, I don't want mushrooms. No.
You heard it here first, kids. He doesn't want mushrooms. Say no to drugs. Okay.
No, we're doing lettuce. Okay. All right.
You're doing lettuce. Lettuce wraps.
Lettuce wraps.
All right. All right. Are you booping all the boops?
I booped a snoot or 2.
So my murder hobos. Okay, so I do a D&D after school thing. There's a lot of preference on this, but we boop Xena's nose because Steve trained her to. He would hold his finger out and she would just gently do this to it, and so now she still does it, and we've started doing it with EG too, and we go boop when we do it, which was in the vlogs.
The command is called touch, and you do it so that the dog finger targets, so you can use them to focus on your fingers so you can get their attention. It's the whole thing, but really it just comes down to booping.
Boop. And so then I do after school D&D with a bunch of 10-year-olds who I have nicknamed lovingly my murder hobos, because these kids are just like murder hobos. They just want to, they are the definition traveling adventurers that don't give anything at all. They just like kill mercilessly, or they just do what they think is funny. Like in the last one, they're in a town that's under siege of an attacking army. And they don't know anything about the army, and they're like, well, we need food supplies, because they've like found a safe house with people, and they're like, we need food supplies, so we're like gonna go. So they send the rogue out to go and find food, and he's like army crawling through just like bodies that have like littered the street from this army invading, and he's cracking jokes like how he's doing it at the same time, and I'm like, you're 10, like why are you doing this? Anyway, one of the things that my murder hobos do is when someone's making an attack roll in the game, they all chant, boop the snoot, boop the snoot, boop the snoot, no matter what they're attacking. So I brought that home, and I was like, I'm gonna boop your snoot, and I would boop, and so now we boop the dog's snoots. It's a thing. Yeah. And also snakes are now snacks. It's like...
These murder hobos, I always imagine if like a townsperson ran up and said, help, my house is on fire, the adventuring party would run over, burst into the burning door, and just start like going through drawers. Like that's how I imagine it.
I didn't tell you. So they're in this town and it's under siege, and one of the kids decides he's gonna go try and find another group of people that have like barred up, and so he sees a curtain twitch across the way. So he just like leaves his safe house, walks across the street, and knocks on the door. Well, the invading army is going house to house through the back door, breaking in the back doors, and just like killing people in the houses. And so he just happened to knock on the door with some soldiers in it. And so he knocks on the door, and they open the door, and it's just a soldier, and like the soldier whacks him. And he freaks out and runs across the street. And so their wizard friend, who's like lookout on a building, is like, it's cool, I got this. So he casts fireball on this house. But it's a town, and so all the houses are, like, built wall to wall, like they share a wall. And so it just explodes in fire. And, like, somebody's like, wait, there's people hiding in these buildings, and they're all linked together. Like, one of the kids, they're like, yeah, it's on fire, they're gonna take damage. And I'm like, yep, they take fire damage every round, da-da-da. And then one of the kids is like, wait, are there people in the houses still? And I was like, yes, they're all still hiding. And they're like, ah! So they start running and, like, banging on every door down the street. It's like a thing now. So the town is on fire. They've got the town on fire. I get to deal with that.
Always helping, always making things better. I still think if you had a podcast where you just describe these things, the podcast would be just named Murder Hobos.
Murder Hobos. Okay.
Oh, okay.
We have to keep playing this game. Sorry, it's like this is our 5th stream this week, and we're just like, here's our lives. Like, let's hang out. Okay. So, we harvest. I'm gonna harvest. Alright. And then we do some tourism time. It's like a buddy cop show or something. What do I want to do?
I still think Beverly Hills Cop 2 is probably the epitome of one of the best buddy cop movies out there.
I feel like...
Are the two things to say fight me or don't at me, but can you combine don't at me and fight me? Maybe not. I don't know.
I could pay these 2 carrots.
Oh, Jaime says boop the shrooms.
Boop the shrooms. Booping these shrooms! I'm gonna take 2 carrots. Plethora of carrots. I have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
So I go first. And then I can pay 3 tomatoes and I can pay 3 lettuce. I cannot, however, pay 3 mushrooms. But it's okay.
Alright. You ready for this?
Yeah. I could do a podcast where I just get in my car after D&D every week. And I just, like, rant about these kids. Who I love. They're great. We have a great relationship.
Okay. So, I'm gonna pay 2 lettuce.
Hey, Daryl!
Pay 2 mushrooms. Take 2 cauliflower. So I have not yet harvested enough. Pay 2 carrots. Pay 3 tomatoes. And then I am done.
Alright. And I get the spade.
Gonna call a spade a spade. Alright, round 5 out of 7.
Yep.
3 more rounds. It's the penultimate round's penultimate round.
I love the phrase penultimate round. Okay. I'm going to seed at least twice. I want to seed more than twice. Damn it.
You could just seed first player to me.
No.
See what I did there?
I hate you. I'm going to take a tomato in a random greenhouse. Because it... Oh, there is no more random greenhouses!
Yep.
That was a belch of anger.
I think I haven't cheated yet, because I've never done that one. I've only ever done that one.
Oh, so... Okay. Okay.
What do I need? I need shrooms. Then Chinese cabbage.
Are shrooms, I mean...
Carrots.
Are shrooms legal? Like, I know the selling of them, like, the drug ones is illegal. But, like, how do you stop people from just going in a forest and eating mushrooms?
So...
Because they might die. Like, it's not...
There are laws on the books, I believe, that relate to interactions with flora. And I actually don't know if taking and eating poisonous things is illegal, but it might be.
Sorry, just ignore me. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. I'm gonna harvest one time.
Joanna says that's a hobby there, like hunting or fishing. Yeah, I know
Is.
people like do it as a hobby and research everything.
One of my murder hobos is a gleamer. So there's a summer camp organization here called Trackers, and one of the camps will actually teach the kids how to go out and forage. And so one of his hobbies is he and his family will like go on hikes and he'll forage berries and mushrooms and herbs and stuff, and like they'll make salves and like herb things, and like he's 10 and this is one of the things he loves. It's great.
Discard a cauliflower to take.
Oh, hey, Vinyl Rabbit.
Greenhouse.
I feel like licking toads is mean to... I feel like licking toads is mean to the toad. Because the toad's like thinking it's under attack. It's stressed. That's why it's excreting the things. It's mean. It's mean. Okay, now I'm gonna seed at least 2 times. Yeah, boy! Okay. Okay. I'm gonna seed this lettuce here. Boop. And then I'm gonna seed carrots, which... So many things! So many things! And then I will seed carrots again. Double carrots! It's like a rainbow, but with carrots.
Whoa.
Rainbow carrots are a thing. The purple ones are delicious.
Are you...
I'm done. Oh, when I seed, I get to harvest a thing. And
Some of those special cards or service cards are just so amazing. I'm just not using them. Should probably be my downfall.
I'm gonna harvest.
Vinyl Rabbit says it's not illegal to go out in the forest and find shrooms. It's illegal to resell the shrooms that you find. It is fine to eat shrooms you find. I guess that makes sense. It's fine for you to do it, but not to enable that for other people. Are you done?
That makes sense. Yes, I am done.
I am going to
Does
take
Reykholt have a lot of start game variability like Agricola, or is it more like Caverna? It's more like Caverna, but there are these service cards, and there's 5 different decks of service cards, and so what these are, which Steve ignores, which these are, will change, how the game flows. And then in this one, there's also, like, a pack of cards that come with scenarios, so, like, setup conditions and like things that you're achieving. It's harvest time.
Boop.
So there's difference in that regard.
Boop. Boop. Boop.
Okay. And then it's tourism time. So I have 3 mushrooms. Now I'm out of mushrooms. Which is the worst. I have 3 cauliflower. And then I don't have 4 tomato. Right? Oh no, that's 3 carrot. I do have 3 carrot. There we go. But I don't have 4 tomato, and so I will take 4 tomato.
Pretty intense. You are ahead as far as the race goes.
For now.
Alright. I'm going to turn in 3 lettuce. Oops. Turn in 3 lettuce to move here. I will take 3 mushrooms. To go here. I will pay 3 cauliflower to go here. Oh, and then I can't take carrots. So I've been stopped. And then now we are on to round 6. 2 more rounds left in the game.
Vinyl Rabbit's teaching us all about mushrooms. Which is not something I needed to know. But, I asked. So it's all good. And you start for the for the penultimate round.
Vinyl Rabbit points out, I know we've been a little flippant, but yes, eating things you find, like eating mushrooms or things, can be poisonous and dangerous. So
I wasn't being flippant. I said they could be dangerous.
I was being flippant about it.
I just wanted to know if it was illegal. Yeah. I'm always curious about the local customs and laws. What state is it where it's illegal to have a donkey in a bathtub? Thing.
So, yeah.
It's Georgia, I think, maybe? I don't remember. Anyway.
Every law in the book, or not everyone, but many laws in the books, someone did it once. So it was just like...
Yeah,
sorry, George, you put the donkey in the bathtub, and now we're gonna have to make a law about it.
So Essen doesn't have a lot of security rules in regards to certain things, and so one of the things that I always say to my American friends when we're in Europe at Essen is don't be the reason the Europeans have to make a rule. Because that's the thing in America, is like there's a lot of rules and security guards because somebody just did it because they could. And so Americans, if there's no rule, we're like, oh, we can just do it. And so in Europe, they don't do that. They're like, there's like unspoken rules and all this other stuff.
Common
it's like
sense and
common
politeness
decency and politeness and things like that. And so one of the things I always tell people if they're going to Europe for the first time is like, don't be the American that makes it why this law or rule exists. Like, don't ruin this for everyone else.
Yup.
So, yep. All right, you start.
On that note.
In Massachusetts, it is illegal to cross the Connecticut River on Sundays. There you go. Apparently, licking toads is more legal. Or is more safe and fun. But it's stressful to the toad.
I love this hat.
You keep saying you love that, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great hat. Oh. Will I cookie green house?
It's the greenhouse I wanted. Cars. I will go here to take 2 mushrooms.
I will harvest up to 2 times. I will take a carrot. And I will take a lettuce.
I am going to harvest one time, taking my last tomato. And I will take one lettuce or one cauliflower, and I will take the lettuce.
I will see it these 2 times.
The board game is not supposed to be a tombstone, but it definitely looks like a very colorful tombstone.
Oh, nice. I can definitely see that. Let's plant all the carrots.
John Edwards says, today the One Tire travels to Iceland to grow vegetables, even more euro than holding conferences, which is a callback to last night's stream. I like it. Just digging around.
Taking a whole bunch of them.
Ah, you seeded twice. Why? Needed to seed. Yeah. Fine, it's fine, it's fine, fine. Actually not fine. I will discard a tomato to take the last greenhouse.
And we're done.
Which gives me a cauliflower.
I think I have not quite timed it right with vegetables.
I haven't timed it right at all. Alright, harvest.
Boop, 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 boop.
And I start. I can do the 4 lettuce. Maybe. But I cannot do the 4 mushrooms. So I will gain 4 mushrooms. So there's this, like, fun thing, it's not fun, where you, like, become overwhelmed. Like, you're like, oh, I don't have that good, so I'll just gain it. And then you're like, I now have way too much of that good, but not enough of others. It's kind of funny in that regard. Your turn.
Yeah, on a second play, this is definitely interesting. So I have to take 3 carrots. Because I do not have 3.
I have a text message.
I'm just going to take a 3 carrot thing.
Oh, nice.
And then I can 1, 2, 3, 4. I can pay 4 tomatoes. And then I don't have enough lettuce to do that one. Alright. So we did, it is now homecoming time, so our workers come back home. My hunch is that you'll win, but we will see.
I start. Give me the spade.
And round 7.
Final round. My mom is booking a trip. For the first time, she's booking her own trip with, like, Airbnb, modern things. Normally we book them all for her, and she's booking it all herself, Airbnb, because she's bringing some friends out to Portland because she loves Portland, and she's been convincing her friends forever to come and vacation in Portland, and she's finally convinced them. So she's like, how do I Airbnb? So yeah, all right, I don't need to plant mushrooms now. I have so many mushrooms. I'm like golden on mushrooms if I get that far. I'll go here to take 2 lettuce.
I'm going to harvest up to 2 times. I'm going to harvest both of these tomatoes.
She knows not to text on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so she's texting today because normally we don't stream. So.
Alright, new check.
I'm just explaining that we're streaming. Okay. She's a very considerate mother. Oh, when I look at your board and think that what you could do, it makes me so sad. You could break my heart, Kairos. Seeding.
Mm-hmm.
I have to seed cauliflower up here. I don't have to, but it's the only place I can, so. And then I am also going to seed lettuce here. But yeah, normally people, when they come to Portland, we don't let them, hey, I'm not done. We don't let them Airbnb. We insist that they stay with us. But my mom's bringing a bunch of her friends, and our house won't fit all of her friends. Plus, it's kind of weird to, like, host my mom's slumber party, basically. So she's gonna come and stay with us for a few days, and then she's gonna go to an Airbnb with her friends. How much cabbage is too much? Or how much lettuce is too much lettuce? Because I might be hitting that limit. It's cool. I got this. Okay. And then I need to harvest, and I'm going to harvest this one. Because when I seed, I can harvest.
You got it. I'm gonna harvest 1 time.
My mom's doing a lot of ampersands. This is not a polynomial game. That was Monday. Monday was our polynomial games day.
So I'm gonna take a cauliflower. I'm gonna harvest.
I love my friend. She throws really great parties, and she invited us to a party, and there's a notes section, because kids are allowed, and it says, anyone under 18 must be responsible for an adult. Because her parties always have a lot of drinking, so, yeah.
Yeah, I think you've got it. I can't get. Yeah, I can't get another cauliflower down.
Solve x squared minus 3x equals 6 is a polynomial game? Is it? Is it?
Oh.
Oh, what's the square root?
That was okay. I'm done. Sorry.
Now I'm solving that equation. Yeah. What's the square root of 3?
See, yeah, that's totally a polynomial game. X squared minus 3x equals 6. Oh, jeez.
Because don't you square root it first to get rid of the x squared?
And you move the 3x to the other side, so it's x squared equals 6 plus 3x. And then you root both sides. So x equals root 6
minus 3x.
6 plus 3x.
Oh yeah, 6 plus 3x. So then
is x
equals x. Ugh. But then you have to divide.
Or quadratic formula. A squared equals b squared.
And now we're just stuck on that. We paused this stream
to play a polynomial. Although, didn't we say this the other day? A polynomial polyomino game would be amazing, where if each square was a part of an equation, and don't tempt me.
You took the thing I wanted.
That's what I always do. You're gonna win.
It's fine. I'm harvesting up to 3 times because I haven't done a flag yet.
Oh wow!
So I harvest, and I'm gonna harvest this.
Yeah.
And then I will harvest because I need I will have 4 cauliflower. I'll have more than 4 cauliflower, so I actually don't need to take that. Because I'll get 2 cauliflower.
Lettuce.
And I will get carrots. And I have tomatoes. I need lettuce. So if I harvest that, when I harvest that, that locks me in on lettuce. And then, yeah. I'll just take more lettuce.
Oh, Final Rabbit says the timing of the pieces dropping down from the top uses a polynomial equation to determine how to speed up. That makes sense.
Are we done?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm seeding at least one time because I need to, but it's not enough to save me. Because I couldn't get a 3rd cauliflower down. So I'm just going to do lettuce. Because it still only gives me 4.
I think it's important not to ignore the service cards, since you always ignore them.
I always ignore the service cards. Like that's... Technically I don't need to. Because the stuff in our greenhouses at the end of the game doesn't matter, right?
No, it does not.
And then I will just do this.
Okay, so then we harvest.
That is one thing I did notice in our first play, is that because it's a race and because the use of the score track.
I like the catch-up mechanic in this score track.
The catch-up mechanic is awesome, but you will probably be able to see defeat coming.
Yeah. Which you can often do in these games. So I have 4 cauliflower.
And to be fair, I have been behind most of the game.
4 carrots.
That's not a huge surprise.
And then I have 5 tomatoes. And I have 5 lettuce.
Yeah, you are well ahead.
And I have 5 mushrooms.
Well done.
And I take 5 cauliflower.
Then for me, I will deliver 4 lettuce. No, we'll deliver 4 mushrooms.
They did all custom new meeples for this game.
I take 4 cauliflower because I do not have 4 cauliflower. And then I pay 4 carrots. And then I pay 5 tomatoes. So then I end there.
Yep.
And Tiffany, that's it. We do homecoming time.
Yep.
Well played.
I win. So I win because I'm furthest on the table. There's no score tracking. It's just whoever made the furthest on the track. So there you go. And that's Reykholt. Designed by Uwe Rosenberg and published by Frosted Games and Renegade Games. And it should be in stores for the holidays. So, yeah.
I think,
Let us be
a lot of games have it. We're going into the last round. If you're way behind on the score track, you're probably not going to catch up. I think...
Well, last time we were playing, I was way behind, and then I caught up to you, and then you were behind me, and then your last turn, you just, went, 6 tables.
Yeah, no, I
tables.
just mean, the catch-up mechanic and stuff in this game is awesome. I just mean that, I was able, going into this last turn, I was there's no way I can get enough vegetables to get further ahead, so you're definitely going to win. But I don't think it's specific to this game. It's just, I think it's obvious in this game because you need specific things to advance on the track, rather than, some games are how can I claw those last couple points? And this one is well, if you don't get that last thing you need, you're not going to be able to catch up. And I think it's a race. It's a 7-round race. So that's just...
But it's a race where you have to plan the timing of things. It's a perfect information game. You know exactly what's going to be out, and you can calculate and figure out, well, if I have this and then this round happens, I will always get 1 of these or 2 of these every round and things like that. So you can calculate it, which is very standard for a Rosenberg game. The variability comes in what your opponents do to each other or what your opponents do during the game to either mess up your engine or just to fuel their own. And how that affects you.
Yeah, and the worker placement is very tight, so...
Yeah. As I said earlier, we have a lot of Uwe Rosenberg titles. We've played a very large amount of his titles. We don't own them all because some of them we prefer more than others. Like, we don't own Agricola, but we have Agricola Family and we have Agricola All Creatures Great and Small.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then we have Caverna and Feast for Odin, so that almost,
yeah,
well, not a complete replacement for Agricola. Like we have enough of like the games surrounding Agricola that do similar things.
Yeah. So,
and we have it on the iPad anyway.
We do have Agricola on the iPad. Can you combine sixes? Okay. So, and then we have, I'm trying to think of the other Rosenbergs, that we have. We have Patchwork Express, we have Norseford, we have Aura and Labora, we have,
Fields of Arl?
Fields of Arl. We do have Fields of Arl. I like Fields of Arl a lot.
And we have had Indian Summer, Cottage Garden, and Spring Meadow. The one which remains is Spring Meadow.
Mm-hmm. Spring Meadow still remains. But we like each of them differently. But Steve just kicks my butt at those games. I don't even know how long Spring Meadow is going to last.
Feast for Odin is interesting because Tiffany will kick my butt at the engine and the worker placement, and I have to make sure to not get too caught up in the tile covering.
Yeah.
Because it prevents negative points, but it's not in itself a massive point generator. I mean, getting the stuff is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, we also have Le Havre.
I love Le Havre way too much. To turn things into other things game. It has almost been cut many times, and I get this look in my eyes about Le Havre, where I'm like, it's about ships and wooden resources.
Yeah. I was gonna cut it because you wouldn't play it. We'd owned our copy, and then we'd never physically played it because we have it on the iPad. And then we played it. And I was like, okay. We used to have Glass Road. We actually got rid of Glass Road when we got Norseford because we felt the weight was very similar. And while we do enjoy Glass Road, we like Norseford a bit more for 2-player.
Yeah.
The hook for Uwe Rosenberg's fans for Reykholt is that it is the vegetable growing, timing, engine building part of Agricola, but there's no, it's like an optional feeding of the people, but the only negative of not feeding people is that's the victory condition, is how much you feed people. Which I think is interesting, right? Because normally it's like you must feed or you will lose points, but you could still win and have negative begging or begging tokens. But in this game it's like, no, we're just gonna make an entire game where all you're doing is feeding people, and that's if you win or not, is how much you feed people. Or
feeding, growing stuff can either lead to points directly at the end of the game, or if you get the building that turns that turns wheat into points, you get a bunch of points. I always like that one in Caverna. But this is just no, it is the score track. Stuff. And similar to some of those other games, ungrown stuff is not worth anything. Or unharvested stuff is not. So the timing is fun.
We've never played this. We've only played it 2-player. I still enjoy it from a puzzle mechanic. I don't know if or when most of our Rosenbergs we haven't actually played more than 2-player. So yeah. But
I think one thing I would say, it's pretty easy to learn, and I feel like it would be pretty easy to teach.
Easy to learn.
One of the things I know about teaching Agricola or Caverna is it always feels like you're saying, and there's this one more thing, or and there's this one more rule or system, or these cards.
Very straightforward.
The variability, which is cool, but also probably one of the things someone would need to study when they were starting the game is what those special cards are.
Yeah.
But there's 6 of them that come out.
There's 6 every round. Every game. There's 6 every game.
There's 6, as opposed to 24 buildings in an Agricola game. So this might be, I feel like this might be a very teachable introduction to this. Work replacement.
The problem with it is it's overproduced. It is gorgeous. There's a lot of really beautiful art, and there's a lot of unnecessary art on things. There's The box is larger than it needs to be. They did custom meeples for the shapes. It is a very overproduced game. And because of that, its price point reflects that. Because you have to pay artists and custom meeples and things like that. So it's fine. But it's interesting because the weight of the game is one that I feel this game would be very accessible to casual gamers or people getting into the hobby. And it's very beautiful, so it's going to have shelf presence. But it's like too beautiful that it might overwhelm. And at the same point, the price tag, I can't remember specifically, but it's steep. It's not like a $50 game. It's not a $40 game. I think it's like $60 or $70.
Oh, wow.
So, and that was, I did do SN pre-order and they did air freight those. So I don't know
like what the MSRP is.
The MSRP, but we can find that out really quickly. Actually, one of you could find that out. So Cool Stuff Inc. is a severe undercutter of MSRP, and most game stores have to charge MSRP, like brick and mortar game stores. So the fact that it's $43 on Cool Stuff Inc. means that the base MSRP is going to be probably $60.
Because, yeah, Cool Stuff is usually charging between, like, 50 and 2/3 of MSRP, I think. So that
no, they don't charge 50.
No, but, I mean, it's in that range.
Yeah.
It's over half, because they probably have to pay at least half to get them wholesale, so...
Yeah, 60 MSRP.
Yeah.
The publisher is Renegade or Frosted Games. Okay. It's both. So, Frosted Games is German, and Renegade has the English. So, that's kind of my problem with it, is it's and that's the other thing is that if Uwe Rosenberg fans will purchase this thinking that it's a more heavy, more involved Uwe Rosenberg title at a $60 price tag and like how well produced it is art-wise, but it's not as deep or as involved. Like, it's a 30 to 60 minute game. And if we hadn't been chatting and shooting, you know, the whatever, not a cuss word for that phrase, we probably could have played in 30 minutes. And so it's one of those things where I have a hesitancy because it's about as heavy as, like, Northford. And there's other things that add to it and make it more intense, but at the same point, I feel like I don't know.
For me, I would say it's probably below Nysfjord or Glass Road in terms of, I wouldn't say weight, but I'd say, like, complexity. Like, both of those games have a lot of things that, at least to me, feel like they interlock, whereas this is a very focused game.
But there is a lot that interlocks with the timing of the vegetables and the stuff like that.
Yeah, the weight is definitely around there. So.
Yeah. It plays very quick. It plays very simple. There are the service cards and stuff will add different mechanics and complexities, so it can evolve. But it's one of those where it's just, I feel like it's hard for me to, like, recommend this to people because it's one of those where it's like, if you really like Uwe Rosenberg's and you want, like, a light, beautiful Uwe Rosenberg game, this is really great. And then you look at the price point and you're like, ooh, maybe not, right? So there's that. On that delightful note, one of the questions that we're answering even before you asked is shooting the chit. I like that.
I love that. Shooting the chit.
Are we keeping this game / where on the shelf is it going? And when we play this game, I want to put it away in a 2-player box. I really like playing this with you. I really like how straightforward it is, how much we mess with each other in, like, such a simple way, and how it really comes down to, I timed this wrong and you threw a monkey wrench in my plan to fix it, things like that. So it plays very well 2-player. I really enjoy it, but it's such a big box, and it's so beautiful, and I honestly don't know if we're gonna play it with more than just us. Maybe we will. I don't know.
Like, it's terrible for me if it was the same game.
And it plays as quick as this.
If it was this same game in this box with production dialed down, it would probably be like a definite keeper.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was only 2-player, whatever. But it's just like, if it was just dialed back to this, it'd be like, yeah, because it has...
Yeah. Like, we don't often play games this light with, like, more than us. Like, if we're playing a very quick game, we'll play something like this, just us. We don't often play games this weight with other players. Usually when we're playing with other players, if people are coming over to our house, we're playing something longer, more involved that we have. We're not usually playing something like this. So this box takes up a lot of space. It doesn't fit in our 2-player built-in cabinet, which is up here. And so, I don't know. It'll go on the second level shelf, which is where Underwater Cities went. And we'll hold on to it for a while and we'll see. But it might move on even though we really like it, just because the size factor of the box is very large for us in our collection for what we get out of it. Though we do really enjoy it.
I think my problem is that I do quite like it, but if you put it next to Nusfjord or Fields of Arl, just because those feel a little meatier for me, I would probably pick one of those. And it's just a different like style of Rosenberg game.
I want this in a 2-player game. I want this in one of the beautiful 2-player boxes, and this would be a no-brainer. I love it. I would recommend this to everyone. But I understand why they went with the decisions they went. It just makes me sad.
Yeah, and just not second guessing, but like if they did the things that were needed to get it in this box, it would be like a must keep for me. Which sounds really like silly, but
well, no, it's important. Space is a factor for us, at least. So there you go. That's Reykholt. It's very enjoyable. It's a great experience. I don't want to turn anybody off of the gameplay. We definitely enjoy it. Just for us with keeping games, we definitely take size into consideration in regards to what we play and what we keep. Somebody asked in the chat, what is it with the NASA shirts? And I was cooking dinner and I spilled something on the shirt that I was wearing. It was a long sleeve shirt. It's cold in the house. So I put a sweater on instead. And this is the sweater. This is the only sweater I own that it does not have a hoodie. And then I revealed to Steve that I bought him cider purely off of the label. And the label is, it's a giraffe and a space helmet in space. And the cider is called Excelsior. And so then he saw my NASA shirt and he was like, I want to wear my NASA shirt too. So he ran to the room as I was starting the stream and came running back, putting his NASA shirt on as he went. And that is why we're both wearing it.
And that's why I'm a little bit of a space cadet. I was going to say something else about Reykholt. I forget what it was. Oh, the other thing I think about it is we have only played it 2-player, and I think the jockeying for first place is fun. I think for me, the final turns of the game in a 3 or 4-player game might be slightly more interesting, because it's like, how do I get in second place?
Yeah.
Like, even if I can't get to first place, how can I get to second place? So that might add some more flavor for more spice playing it 3 or 4, but we probably won't play it 3 or 4-player much.
Maybe. I want to try it. It's going on the try shelf for that reason. So we'll just, put it over there. The shelf's not right there. It's just close. Because we're streaming again tonight! We're doing a week of streaming. We're streaming every night this week. And the next stream that we're doing is we're playing The River, designed by Ismail Perrin, and Sebastian, the cursive, I cannot read it. Penchant. But this is the Days of Wonder title for this year. Days of Wonder releases 1 game a year, and this is the game. And this is a worker placement game about settling, basically a river. It doesn't say what river you're settling. It kind of looks like something in the Pacific Northwest of America.
There's also, we got the Purple Mountain Majesty on the cover, so it could be...
It could be Colorado. But those mountains are too big for Colorado. Yeah. So...
It's this idealized America where nothing bad ever happened when people settled part of the country.
Yep. So, we're gonna play this next. So, we're gonna, just like crashing it into my head. We're gonna shut down the stream, and then we will go eat some dinner very quickly, and then we'll change the thumbnails and titles, and then we'll restart the stream, and we'll be playing The River. So if you're watching live with us now and you want to watch The River, you can actually just hang out in the chat. And is Twitch still broken? I actually thought I fixed it today, But no one's in the Twitch chat, I've realized.
Did Restream let you back in?
Oh. Good night. This is serious business. Anyway, but if you're watching Twitch or you're watching on YouTube, if you just hang out in the chat, you can, when the stream restarts, it will, like, refresh, and you'll get the information. So there's that. You don't need to leave. I'll also tweet when we're live, so you know if it lags, you can refresh. And there's that. If you're watching this in the future, thank you for watching this long, and playing through all or listening to all our shenanigans. There will be a link someplace. I think I've been putting them right there. Where you can go and just click over and watch this video. It might have already popped up, but, yeah, so you can go and watch the stream of the river. So, yeah, we're doing streams every night this week. We're doing at least 2 streams a night, except for last night was Underwater Studios because it was a longer game with 3 players. And, this is tonight's second stream, but I release the streams publicly the next day. So, if you tune in late, you can always watch the next day. The thing. Twitch is still broken. Bummer.
There's somebody in chat though.
Oh no! Oh, it's Steve saying we're not currently live on Twitch. Thanks, Steve.
There's a dog in a chef hat.
Oh, you did post a dog in a chef hat. Okay. I thought I fixed Twitch today. Twitch. Bummer. Alright, we're gonna play the river. If you like this video, feel free to hit the thumbs up. It helps with YouTube's algorithm things. If you'd like to make sure that you don't miss out on our streams, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell so sometimes YouTube will notify you. I also post videos for various things. We did our Essen vlogs. I posted those so you can go watch and experience Essen. There's also an Essen haul video. There's 2 of them because I brought so many games back, and you can go and see what we have. And I'm also editing a video right now on how we brought back games from Essen. So there's that. And then I also do reviews and other things. So, that's all the spiels about our spiels. So we're gonna go and eat dinner and we'll be back.
Our spiel Essen.
Yeah. Alright. Good night, Mad Bona.
Good night.
Alright. We will see you all in the river. Or just in the future.
You know, the river is where I throw all of my resources in the colonists when I can't store them.
That's true, you do.
Throw them in the river.
Okay, good night!